light, as per usual, is dominating, and I'm going to have to move it in a second. A little bit later than I planned. I did plan an 9:30, but obviously being a dad and all that good stuff, it is an absolute puts the mockers on plans, as it were. So look, guys, hope you're all doing extremely well. As I said, I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. Look, first thing to say is this is an amazing community. Please get into this community. Even if you don't like me, as I've been told many times on this channel, that get into this amazing community. Ray is already in there. Henderson is in there, mate. Henderson, I love that opening line. It's like a classic sitcom, mate. I love it. Scott is already in the house. Nikarutsu, legend, of course. Sky is in the house as well. I am just going to change this light because it's bugging the shit out of me. Let's do that. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. So look, get into this amazing community. We don't mind the banter, as we say. Look, I've already got things to say, says Ray. I've got things to say as well, but look, I'll tell you my approach. So look, guys, get into this amazing community. Be respectful at all times. Be respectful to the community, to the moderators, to yourselves. Be respectful to me. Otherwise, the ban hammer comes out and you'll get banned. I'm not a dictator of this channel, which means that you guys get in your views and opinions as well. Sky says, my boys love being at the game today. And look, this is one of the first things I wanted to say. Look, there are many things that I want to say. It doesn't matter tonight. It's not for tonight. Look, guys, you get maybe not rated to your notes, but it's United rated, and it's weird. Look, Ray, mate, I love your hot takes, Ray. Get in there with your view. The most important thing for me today is this. Look, we won the game, and for people like Sky, right? This is ultimately what this is about. This is what this team is about. So Sky, her children have gone to watch the match today, right? If you're a young supporter, and this is all I've been asking for all season and for quite some time now, is those kids are going to go to the match today, right? And whatever we think of the football, we can talk about that as well. Whatever we think of the football, those kids today are going to be entertained. Now, look, if we want younger fans in this club, and look, it's all about the result. And ultimately, look, whether or not this is going to last, look, I'm still not fooled by these players. I'm still not all that stuff. I'm not going to go into that today. Nikarutsu says that the game wasn't pretty, but we got the result. And right now, right here and now, we will go through it. There are many things that I do want to say, but today is not that day. Today is about going through the match. We'll go through the facts of the match, and this is for you guys. But this is your show. So how I'm gonna start to structure these shows for me is that the match reaction should be about your reactions, right? I've got my own, but I think it's super important that you guys have your say. I'm not really going to give an opinion as much. If I'm asked questions, then I will. But look, today again, it's a fourth win, right? And like Henderson, I don't give a flying fuck about some prat who's made this about himself. Look, this and on one thing I tell you what has rejuvenated me. I tell you what has not shifted my thinking, but I tell you what has kind of made me, I don't know if you guys have seen it yet. I did a video on the Busby babes, right? So I basically did a video that I put up, and I didn't do the live shows on a Friday because obviously that was the anniversary, right? So I thought it was only right and correct to put up a video like that. And look, it's not about getting praise. It's not about being told how great the video was. It doesn't. That's not the purpose. But look, if you guys enjoyed it, that's good. United forever. It says hi. The purpose of the video for me was just about doing this channel's small part into educate the future. United Forever says, hi, I've just come across your channel. Thanks, buddy. Look, you are welcome here. Look, get in your thoughts and opinions about the match today. This is your show tonight. Look, I'll give you some views, but look, the reason why I did the video was because it's really important, I think, sometimes to understand where you come from, right? How this team came about, right? And I know the story. I've listened to the story. I've watched so much stuff consumed, but I had to go through it again and talk. And honestly, I found it really amazing how emotional it actually was to make the video. And it's not something that I just say. It's really emotional for me to go through it again. And look, I had to watch all of the videos again. I watched all that stuff. And the essence of that, and look, I'm not saying that is what we're seeing now, but it's just when I hear that Sky's kids are going to the game today, and that is what we did today. That is what we want. Look, this team is not even comparable. This team is not even a blip on that team. But the whole point is like this is what it needs to be. This is what the Bloxy Boys official says. Grimsby 12, mate. It's facts, buddy. It's facts. It's facts, mate. Look, it's facts. Look, you can try to bring us down tonight. It is not going to happen. Look, I at times will be the biggest miserable soul gear on the planet, but not tonight. Just not tonight. So look, yeah, look, I thought today was the biggest way to describe this team for me and to describe this performance is a roller coaster ride. It is a roller coaster ride. Up and down. I will get into it as well, but let me get into the chats. And look, guys, this is your show. Don't be scared. Give me your opinions. I want to know your opinions, and this is what I want to know your opinions on tonight. Okay, how do you think we played? One of the things I do want to say, and I want your opinions on this. Am I going to give my opinion? I don't know. What do you think about Bruno Fernandes? And I'm not talking about his performance. Well, I am. I want to understand where you guys sit on him at the moment. I've seen this today. I get sent clips all of the time, right? And I'm interested in to know your opinion on this. And I will give my opinion. Bruno Fernandes. There are two opinions that I've seen today, and I got sent. I'm not going to call out people for their opinions and views. That's up to them. I've seen two things today. I've seen, number one, Bruno is in shout for player of the season. And the second one, Bruno could win the Ballon d'Or. I'm gonna leave that with you guys, and you start giving me your comments on that. Look, Bruno Fernandes, spoiler alert, was brilliant today. Again, I've got my opinions, but look, this is the game today. So, and we will go through the game. But look, give me your opinions. I want to know your views, and I will go back and I will read out your views. So look, let's get into this. So let's go through your your chats. Henderson says 4 in a row. Nikarutsu says, JB, you're absolute handsome devil. Nikarutsu, legend, mate. And I hope you're doing extremely well. I've got things to say. Gone through that one. Sky, exactly. Your boys have been in the game. The game wasn't pretty, but we got the result. Ray says, have you noticed every time since Carick has been appointed after every game, Statman Dave does a video analysis on how we beat the team. Never seen so much ass kissing in my life. Look, the football space, right now, right, is especially this footballing content space, right? This football content space, they'll have you believe that these content, or the biggest ones, are inclusive. They are they are open. They're just like fans. It's a closed shop. It is about whose arse you kiss and kick. It's about whose arse you lick. It's about who it is what it is. I don't prescribe to that. I'll never prescribe to that. Probably this is why this channel will never be huge, because I would rather kick arses than kiss arses. But that's me. Henderson says, I want us to win 5 in a row, but don't want that lad to get his haircut. It was a great vid. Thanks, buddy. Great match today. No, it was. Harif said, Carick is revolutionary. It just shows what a change of manager can do. If we had Rashi back, we'd be challenging. Harif, if this was a different show, Harif, if this was an afternoon show, a different show, I would have plenty to say, Harif. But I'm just, I'm look. These are your views. I don't share revolutionary Carick. I don't buy it, mate. I will give you my views on Carick. But I disagree. If Rashford got back, would we be challenging for a title? No. Look, there were so many views today, Harif, that I just I'm finding it very, very difficult. Look, today is a fantastic win. Right? 4 in a row. It doesn't matter about a red card. It doesn't matter about, or it doesn't really matter about what we are, right? But tonight, the thing that spoils it for me, Harith, the thing that mars these wins for me are these extremist opinions. And look, everybody is entitled to their opinion, right? But there's this extreme opinion that we can challenge for the title. Where Bruno Fernandes is suddenly, because he's had 2 decent games, he's now suddenly in with a shout for the Ballon d'Or. He's suddenly in with a shout for the best player of the season. United are back. United are going to win the league. Why can't we just enjoy the win? Like, why can't we just go, look, we've won 4 in a row. Why can't we enjoy that? This, for me, just as much as people will go, if you critique a win, which I'm not planning to do, by the way, people will get called out for having a negative view. All right. So if you say, oh, look, we won, but the red card, blah, 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 right? Then somebody will get called out because of the negative view, right? On the other side, why don't people get called out for having a super positive view? Like, that's the bit for me that I don't get. Like, people talking about, winning a league. And look, let's be clear here. Tonight, we are in a top 2 race. Like, let's be having this right tonight. I am the biggest pessimist. I'm the biggest optimist on this planet. I now cannot deny that we have dragged we've dragged Aston Villa into a top 6 race. If City don't win, City are in a top. Look, we have clawed our way back. So I will absolutely all day entertain that we're chasing down 2nd and 3rd. Doesn't mean to say that we will, but I believe just as negative views, I don't think are really needed now. But at the same time, I don't think that extremist views, I find extremist positivity views, toxic positivity, the same as negative. To suggest that Bruno Fernandes tonight can win the Ballon d'Or, it's just fucking fantasy. It is fantasy. Unless Bruno Fernandes puts in that type of performance today, throughout the rest of the season, we win a league and he goes on to win the World Cup. Bruno Fernandes is by no means Bruno Fernandes this season hasn't even been our best player. So look, Harif, I'm not calling out your view, buddy. Everyone is entitled to their view. I just personally find tonight these extremities of negativity. But look, I'm just going to hold it off. Someone says, good evening, JB. We've got revenge, got 3 points and kept the clean sheet. So I'm happy with that. Exactly. Grimsby, yeah, well, we've done that. I respect United. Sing it with me. Carrick's at the wheel. We're going to win the league. United says Grace. Grace is already in there being cheeky tonight. Carrick is at the wheel. Oh, God. Good win on 3 points. This got who's talking crap about Dallo. What a performance. Man of the match. Bruno led by example today and got man of the match. Says Simon. Look, Bruno Fernandes to me, had a good game today. I don't know, Simon, what you mean by leading by example. Simon, I mean, look, we'll go through that as well. But what do you mean by leading by example? I don't get what you mean by what. I don't know what I saw from Bruno Fernandes today that shows me how he led by example. What I saw with Bruno Fernandes today, I saw a player who had lots of space. I saw a player that all he did today was hit the Hollywood balls, the Hollywood passes. Bruno Fernandes was back to that Hollywood passing, Hollywood balls. Bruno Fernandes was back. He's back to how he has been. Shooting from 20 yards instead of laying off a pass. I found the majority of the team today Bruno did lead by example today. And I found the example was that everybody decided to have shots from 20 yards today. Everybody decided to try and hit like balls that shouldn't be hit. Bruno Fernandes can so that's something that like it's something that Bruno Fernandes can do. Is Bruno Fernandes world class? On his day and in a moment he is, but I don't get what you mean by lead by example. So I'm like, I look, Bruno Fernandes to me had a fantastic game today. But I don't get the lead by example bit because I don't see a leader. But when I look at Bruno Fernandes, I see a team that is in awe of Bruno Fernandes. I see a big chunk of a fan base that's in awe of a Bruno Fernandes. But why? Because if you look at every successful team and every successful era that we've ever had, what is the common theme of these teams, right? Fernandes, fantastic player, right? But what is the common theme of our best teams, right? 94, 90, 92, 93, 94, right? Schmeichel, Parker, Pallister, Giggs, Irvin, Bruce, Sharp, Ince, Kanchelskis, Cantona, right? It's a team. A lot of those players better than Fernandes, but it was a team of leaders, a team of players. You can go through the treble team, Beckham's goals, Giggs, Keane, team. Players in that team better than Bruno Fernandes, but it wasn't about Bruno Fernandes. It was about the team. Fast forward, Rooney, Cristiano, Tevez, were they better than a Bruno Fernandes? 100%. But guess what? It wasn't about them. It wasn't the Cristiano show when he was here. It wasn't the Rooney show when it was here. And on the days that it was the Cristiano or the Rooney show, it was because they were amazing. You had all those stars, but they were able to play together as a team. This team today is, I was going to call the video Bruno Fernandes FC today, because this team is Bruno Fernandes FC. And look, people can admire that. These players are in awe of him today. He had a fantastic game. But the thing that's spoiling it for me today, instead of just going, look, he's been in form. Bruno has been in really, really good form. He's had the last 2 games have been great. Today was probably his best performance. But yet, why can't we just let these players have a performance? Why can't we just let Bruno Fernandes have a good game? Bring him into form. Why is it that Bruno, or anything that we do, we have a good game, a good win, and unlike anybody else, suddenly Bruno is for the Ballon d'Or. Carick should be the manager. We're back. We're going to win the league after 4 games. Like, I love it. I do. But it's that extreme view for me. And look, I'm not digging him out here. But it's that whole, he had a good game today. But why is it Bruno Fernandes FC? I don't get it. Game was okay today, not outstanding. We lacked finishing and the habit of running offside too. Bruno is sellable. It isn't important. Fans say he would be good in Fergie's era. That makes me laugh. He's the best of a bad bunch. He plays when he wants. He's a fake captain. I think that's an interesting view. Bruno is scoring and assisting. Take that out of the team, and who fills the gap? And look, Henderson. I can't disagree with that. I can't, mate. But I think that's a whole new debate. Bruno won't win the Ballon d'Or, says Scott. No shit, buddy. Do you think the United said, Bloxy boys, look, mate, I can't do it. Bloxy, mate, look, it is nothing to do with you, buddy. I'm not calling you out, but I honestly had a temptation tonight to literally block anyone who's talking about this fucking guy. Look, I'm gonna give you my opinion on this guy, right? And look, this is not aimed at anybody. This is just my humble view, and I've said this many times. I don't give a flying fuck about some prick who basically wants to profit on the misery of this club. Good luck to the guy. The guy is going to make bank out of this. The guy is going to make money out of the misery of this club. We've had an absolute shitty season up until this point. And it just goes to show you the narcissism, the narcissistic tendencies of certain people in this fan base to profit and to make it all about me. Instead of wanting this team to win 5 games to get to the chat. Look, how amazing is it, right? We've won 4 games on the trot, and we're in touch and distance of second. I would rather be focusing on these players. What a turnaround these players have had. You could go through this side, and I've criticised these players all season. These players are now starting to do what I've asked them to do. I can now start to kind of praise these players. Bruno has started to hit form. Brilliant. Like, I'm so pleased for him. Casemiro. Adalo. Look, Dallo isn't brilliant, but he's playing decent. Luke Shaw, Maguire. That's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on this group of players. I want to focus on this fans. But no. What's going to happen is somebody's going to get that guy with hair on their show, and they're going to cut his hair, and he's going to make bank out of it. Like, this guy's literally going to charge people to have him on their stream, on their... Look, Media outlets are talking about this guy. They shouldn't be talking. He shouldn't even be in the conversation. Why is he in the conversation? And this is what I mean about why can't we just win a game? Why can't we just? Why is there always this? There's always something attached. There's always some sort of angle. There's always some sort of this guy. Like if we win 5 games, I honestly hope. I honestly hope somebody ties him down before the game and just fucking shaves his head off, because it's what's next? He's not going to shave his ball sack until we win a league. Like, what's going to be the next thing? He's not going to shave his armpits. He's not going to shave his bollocks. Like, and I'm not saying that you shave him anyway, right? But I'm just saying, like what's going to be the next stunt? He's not going to wash. He's not going to wash until United win the Champions League. And then you'll have him on screen scraping the crust off his dick. Like you'll have him on screen scraping the crust off of his armpits. Like what's the next thing? And it's just a fucking leech. Simon says, my heart nearly sank when Ugarte came on. We're 15 points above the Spuds, says Simon. I don't think Bruno will win either of those awards unless he basically wins the World Cup for Portugal. Pratman Dave is just an English glazer. We did some Spud bashing today. We put Frank Spencer close to the exit. Oh, better. I love it. Yeah, luck was on our side today, but Romero getting sent off helped. Who cares about the guy? I only care about winning. He's going to be a nobody after all. We get 5. Finally, after 8 matches against Spuds in all competition, we got revenge. We're not winning the title. We're winning the league, believe that, says Grace. After the red card, Spuds didn't really pull themselves together without their captain. Arsenal 9 points clear. Villa are blipping hard. 3 London clubs on the bounce. Remember, we finished 3rd with no Europe under Ten Hag. West Ham away next. Had results been different, I guarantee McCoy's and company would be shit. And I mean, if you listen to McCoy's today, and look, McCoy's today, look, Casemiro for me, brilliant, right? I think Casemiro this season has been good. Casemiro, I think, has been looking better because by comparison, everybody else is shit. But irrespective, Casemiro has been playing well. Ali McCoy's today making out like basically everybody has to apologise to Casemiro. Casemiro has proved everybody wrong. Casemiro this season has proved everybody wrong this season. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Casemiro's legs have still gone. But Casemiro, and this is what I mean about people can't just let us win fucking games. Like Casemiro has played well. I've got no problem in saying that at the start of the season, Casemiro, I was just like, he's gone. He's had a good season, and I'm so pleased for him. But why can't people just leave it at that? What is with the passive aggressiveness of people like McCoist? Instead of just saying, Casemiro has been playing fantastically well, 100% agree. Brilliant, right? But no, Casemiro's proven these people wrong. Casemiro has proven, how Casemiro's legs have gone. Casemiro earns 300k a week. Who is he proving wrong? He's doing his fucking job. Right, he's doing it well. Today was brilliant again. I love Casemiro this season. I love Casemiro. I think Casemiro is loyal. I think Casemiro is just fantastic. He's experienced. I think he's an all-round great professional. On 300k, you should be. But for people to say that Casemiro has proven people wrong, the guy's not been great for 2 years. I'm so pleased that Casemiro is going to end as a bit of a cult hero. I think he's going to end a hero. But for Ali McCoist to suggest that Casemiro has proved people wrong, no, he hasn't, Ali. He gets paid 300k a week. He's doing his job, mate. How is that proving people wrong? It's a bit like me going to work, right? me maybe being offish for like a week or so, me coming back, me doing my job, and me sending the teams around going, I'm back, guys, I'm back. I've proved you wrong, even though you've paid me those days that I was shit at work. I'm back. I've proved you wrong, guys. I've proved you wrong that I can do my job. You know, fucking ridiculous. Luke Shaw is the best left back in the world right now. Grace, I'm not buying Grace. I'm not buying. Will you reach out to that guy? Yeah, I will, Scott. I will, mate. I will reach out to him. Bruno's goal drought is over at last. I didn't know what to think when Shaw was taken off. This team is playing one game a week. Need to rebuild, as this lot will not survive next season. If Herbie, exactly, mate. And Herbie, this is my whole point with this team. We need to take it game by game. We have one game a week. I never expected us to be in this position. Everything is a bonus with this team. And Grace, I think you're right as well. This team is the Bruno Fernandes show. And it's all about Bruno stats. But you know, Bruno, look, his goal today, fantastic. Assist and goal, great. Leewood says, I just want us to keep the winning up. The atmosphere again today was good. I'm happy if I get Champions League. And Leewood, legend, mate, look, this is it for me, right? I don't care about Bruno Fernandes winning the belt. Like, this is what fucks me off the most, right? I don't care about Bruno Fernandes being world class. If Fernandes wins the Ballon d'Or, whatever else, I don't give a fuck, right? If he gets assists and goals, I don't care, right? It is about performance. I'm not interested at the moment in this selfish football FC. Who gets the most goals? Who gets the assist? Leewood. All I care about is atmosphere. I care about this team playing well. I want this team. Look, home fans. I'll always say this, right? A fan is a fan is a fan, but I always have to give respect to home fans. I give respect to the match-going fans. I give respect to the away fans, because you are the guys that go home and away. Sky's kids was at the match today. Match-going fans go to the games, every game, right? And how amazing is it for you guys? You've had to watch a bag of shit for the last 18 months. How amazing is it? And this is all I care about, really, are the results. Obviously, I care about the Glazers. I've spoken about this many, many times. It's about winning. And look, this edge of your seat football, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I'm not fooled. Look, the difference between me and I think people that want Carick in is this. I've got my strong opinions on what I think this side is, what it should be. I'm not fooled by these players, but by God, am I enjoying it. But I'm enjoying this edge. You can. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong in enjoying edge of your seat football, right? There's nothing wrong in this next. Look, the reason why I'm enjoying it so much is because nobody's got anything to lose. What have these players got to lose? They've been shit all season until the last 4 games. Carick has got nothing to lose. You know, I wasn't expecting him to get into a top 4 race, a top 3, top 2 race. I wasn't expecting that. Everything's a bonus. I think he's doing a cracking job. These players have responded. I don't care right now. These players, I know they need their egos massaged. I know these players, you know, need to be hugged and kissed. I don't care. But Carick is doing it. And I'm loving this right now. So, you know, the difference between me and I guess some people who are Carick in is I can enjoy it. I can enjoy it. I can see it for what it is. But I'm not getting carried away. It's a bit like, you know, I'm just trying to think of like, you know, something to compare it to. It's a bit like when you go out on the piss, right? You're out there, you're having a couple of drinks. Now the first 4 or 5 drinks are amazing. You're just like, oh yeah, this is fantastic. You've got nothing to lose. You've got no work the next day. It's a completely free hit. You're on your 4th and your 5th drink, and you get carried away. And you think, this is amazing. I love this drink. This is fantastic. And then you keep going, and then it all goes downhill. And then the next day you got a fucking hangover, and you're just like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. Enjoy it, because as soon as Carick, look, will Carick get this job? I don't know. But we all know, as soon as the manager gets in power and the manager becomes authoritative in this team, we all know that is when the problem starts. So look, I am with Leeward. I just think that it's really important right now for people to focus on the fact that we're winning. I don't care if Fernandes doesn't get a goal or an assist. I don't care who scores the goals. I just want us to win, get us into the Champions League, and then we can have this conversation at the end of the season. So Grace says, serious question would be, will this guy get a haircut after West Ham? Grace has been cheeky. The season has been terrible, but we should at least get Champions League football. Now the players look more happy, so hopefully it continues. Exactly, Lee. Exactly, mate. Exactly. When we had strength and depth, those players not getting minutes left because of the managers only gave them time in cup games, I'd have to start rotation to blood young plays in. EJ says, hi, hello. JB finally visits the gym for the first time ever when we win 5 games in a row. Grace, you know what? I'm gonna, and I'm not advocating this. I'm gonna start to take roids, and I'm not gonna do that. I think the big hair guy is a knob. So do I. I think he's an absolute cretin. JB has a bath when Luke Shaw gets man of the match. Jesus Christ, I'd absolutely stink more than I do now. JB works, I do. Andy Seal. Right, listen, mate. Listen, right. Do I think the United strand is raising money for charity? Probably. Right? Fine. But Andy, do you think the guy's not making bank out of it? Do you think, Andy? Let me tell you, Andy, right? I know for a fact, even if the United strand is giving money to, giving it away, I'm telling you now for a fact, I know this for an absolute fact, he's charging big money for whoever wants him to come on their show. So as much as I admire the fact that this whole, and Andy, don't be fooled by this, by the way. He's giving money to charity because that's what he's been told to do. Right? Look, it's fantastic. Somebody's going to benefit from the money, but don't be fooled by this, by the way. This is a PR stunt, and he's charging people big bank. He's gonna make £1 million quid. Look, he's gonna make money out of this. So Andy, please don't be fooled and give people shit because you think he's doing this out of the goodness of his heart. The guy's got PR. The guy knows what he's doing. The guy's been advised by PR to give money to a charity. I'm telling you, Andy, he is gonna make the money he's gonna make from this will outweigh any money that he's going to give away. I guarantee you. I can assure you. So, Andy, don't give people shit because I'm of the same opinion. And there are things that I know about this guy. Look, he's a nice guy, but don't think he's not making money on this because he fucking well is, mate. Mark says, free United. If people want to do the whole proving people wrong stuff, then all they have to do is say Kobe has proved Amarin wrong. Exactly. Ray, Ray, mate. If people look, if people think this guy, and again, I can't believe I'm talking about this guy, right? There is no doubt, I'm sure, commendably, he's going to give money to a charity. He's been advised to do so. It's fantastic. Somebody's going to benefit from that. Fantastic. He's going to make money. He's doing this for money. He's doing this for fame, for notoriety. He's going to make money. So please, like, and again, this is such a Glazer thing. Like, people get fooled. This is such a Glazer nomic spin, right? People get fooled. You know, you get shown this one facade that he's gonna give money to X, Y, and Z. Great, fantastic. But he's gonna make so much money. Look, people, and look, this is why the Glazers do so well on this fan base, because people are easily spun. United really enjoying their football. Fans are happy. Old Trafford turned back into a fortress. Mike Dave says, "Hi mate, good to see you again. I'm back after the Bournemouth game, and I've always said Ruben out. Thank God he should be in prison. He destroyed Bruno and the club." And look, the one thing I am going to say, look, I've been Bruno's biggest critic all season, but it's nice to see him in that number 10 position. Look, Bruno Fernandes at 10. You could argue that he is one of the best he's probably the best in the league at number 10. You know, it is good. It is good to see him back at 10. I much prefer him in a 10. Bruno he divides opinion, but what he is at times he can do this stuff that is just wonderful. But then at the same time, he's so frustrating. And look, this is what makes him a maverick. This is what makes him like who he is. And the fact he's back at a 10, happy days. Frank Spencer getting closer to the exit door. Spurs have been mocking us too much. Who's laughing? Now, after the European final, I said, lose or win, Ruben, I'm out. Really happy I can watch my United game confidently. That feels nice. Palace Edits says United Strand will get a haircut. Palace, mate, I can't, buddy. But legend. Spuds fans nursing hangovers. We roasted the Spuds today. 2-0 v City, 3-2 v Arsenal, 3-2 v Fulham, 2-0 v Spurs, and now West Ham. Next season, our midfield should be Kobe Mainoo. Grace, look, Grace, you're going to have to get up earlier than that, Grace, to catch me out on that one. Even Benitez got the boot at Chelsea after winning a cup, so Carick shouldn't get too comfortable. Romero to most four games. Callum says he has started to go on the United stand and requested a lot of money to go on the show and have them do it. Gobridge said he could. And look, Callum, mate, I don't watch that, but I know. Look, I don't need to be told that. Look, mate, I again, when your channel gets bigger, right, you start to interact with people, and you start to, not meet, but you start to meet people, and you start to interact with people. And then people get a name for themselves, Callum. And I could have told you that. I could have told you that. So, look, I didn't know that. I had no idea that I'm not surprised. But I had no idea that they'd asked him to come on the show. But look, it is industry known that this guy is giving money to a good cause. Fantastic. But if anybody thinks he's not doing this for fame, and he's not, look, he is. He also has an agent. Exactly. We have 2 away matches: West Ham, Everton, and Bruno. I think we'll get a few goals in the World Cup. I knew United would win today. So look, let's go through the game. I've got some things that I've written down a bunch of notes, right? Some of them I'm not going to go through tonight because we won a game, right? You know me by now. I am. I don't want to spoil it. But look, today's game. Give me your views, and I'll give you my opinions as well. Look, half an hour. I thought Spurs came to play. Grace, I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow. I think I think as much as I think it is the responsibility of people to give an opinion, right? To give an opinion, to be honest, I think there's also time for me to shut up. I think there's also time for me to just shut up and just enjoy it. Look, I can't help it. I can't help having the mind that I do. I can't help having the opinions that I do. I can't help having the standards that I've got in life and in the work that I do and the football that I've watched. I've been very, very fortunate to watch this team. I've seen the standards. Maybe my standards are too high. But Grace, exactly. We were so aggressive. And look, Scott, I again, look, let's go for the game. I thought Spurs. This guy reminds me of Goldbridge. And what can I say? I don't know. So look, I thought it was a very, very equal game. If you're new to the channel, by the way, I do read out the comments. I do. That's the one thing about this channel. I will always say. Grace says no. JB is a lot older. Thanks, Grace. I mean, look, Grace keeps me in line. Grace keeps this channel in check. So Spurs usually have a habit of scoring late against us. It's true, but look, I thought today one of the first things I want to say doesn't matter about the red card, right? We did what we're supposed to do against a team with 10 men. If you look at the Chelsea game, the corresponding Chelsea game that we played where they had 10 men as well. I know we had a man sent off in that game as well, right? But I'm taking all the positives from the win, but I do see some cracks in the performances in the last two games. And look, Matteo, mate, I share with you. All I'm going to say is this: I share your views, right? I'm like a kid. I've got many things to say tonight, but I'm not going to say them because I'll be accused of negativity. I'm trying to hold my tongue. I'm trying to hold my tongue. So, but look, Matteo, I am with you. I don't prescribe. I don't prescribe to that we were amazing today. I don't prescribe to that we've been amazing for the last 4 games. I don't think that we were. I think the red card today massively helped us out. What's his name? It's Gallagher. If he had scored that, it would have been a different game. He didn't. Ifs and buts. It doesn't matter. The whole point of that is that it wasn't like Spurs came and we outplayed Spurs. Big chunks of that game, Sarr got so much joy. Our midfield. Let's talk about the midfield for a second before I come on to the chats. Look, our midfield today was non-existent. Spurs dominated the midfield. What is apparent is that we need a midfield. We don't look. Spurs and chunks of that game today dominated us in that midfield. They had joy. What we do as a team, we absorb pressure and we counter. We are counter-attack FC. I'm not criticising it for now. Is it a long-term plan? No. If you stick 2 centre midfielders in there, 2 good centre midfielders in there, and look, and you have a bit more of a robust, have a bit more of a tactical system in there, because I'm going to say this, controversial, I don't know. Carick doesn't have tactics. I don't care what anybody says. Carick does not have tactics. Look, I get why he's doing it. Carick is playing the same team, the same formation, the same players, the same absorb, counter football. There is no tactics in there. It is get to the end of the season, Billy Basic football. Let's play these players to their potential. And I'm not saying it's bad, by the way. I'm not criticising the system. I'm not saying that the system is bad. But fundamentally, today's game hinged on a red card. It really did. Look, but I will say this. This season, it wouldn't have mattered if a team have had a red card. Would we have gone on to win the game? Not necessarily. But we did what we should have done today against a team with 10 men. Now, that is when you've got space. When this team has time and space, this is a good team. This is why Bruno Fernandes today did so well. Because he had time and space. You can't give Bruno Fernandes space. If you give him space, he is one of the best players in the world. If you give him any sort of space, he will dominate a game. He will run that game. He just needs a bit of time and space. And you look at what he did today. Like was he consistent the whole game? No. But when you give him time and space, that man is phenomenal. So look, the first half an hour I thought was very end to end. It suits us. I don't think Martinez today, for me, I thought he looked a little bit off. Now, I think the reason why he's looked a little bit off is because the guy has come back into this team having 2 years out. You look at the last 4 games that he's played. I'm not surprised that he's tired. So I'm not concerned. I think it's fatigue. And I know we've got 1 game a week, but look, he hasn't played a pre-season. He hasn't played the best part of 2 years. You can't be out for 2 years, train, come back, and then suddenly be, match fit. I've been so impressed with him up until this point. And I still am, by the way, that the fact that he's come into this squad, and I think today was the first time. Look, was he awful? No. I just thought he was just a little bit off. I just think he's tired. I think that the last couple of weeks of coming back and playing football to this standard, and I think a week's break will help him. So, again, I thought he was good today. Casemiro, again, some good shots. Again, I thought at times, I thought Spurs' midfield, I thought they were better. And Kobe Mainoo, look, he is not a defensive midfielder. Kobe's defensive work needs work. But look, there is no doubt that Kobe Mainoo, when he gets the ball at his feet, is a joy to watch. Right? There is no doubt about that. But Kobe Mainoo is not a defensive mid, or he doesn't have those characteristics in his game. But going forward, he's a joy. Ahmad today is exciting, always looks to probe. Cunha, I thought, was okay today as well. And Bruno as well, I thought he was okay today. He scored a goal. Look, and I think the front players today probably struggled a little bit more for space, because I think the way that Spurs set up and then the way that then Spurs had to defend, I thought that the front 3 today, look, they didn't get a lot of space. So I thought it was a lot harder. And because they had no space, the midfield was open. And basically the back 4 had a field day. Casemiro had an easier game. Fernandes then run the show. It was the Bruno Fernandes show. As soon as you give him that space, and you could see it today. Look, it's always a joy for me to see players that enjoy it. Is there anything better? And you know my opinions on him. I think he divides people. But is there anything better than seeing a Bruno Fernandes who is happy, he's relaxed, spreading the balls around? Like he's such a talent at times, but he still loves. Instead of doing the simple pass, and today, look, for all of his positivity, he still has that. He still gives the ball away. For every one amazing ball, he might give away 3 balls, so he gives away one in every 4. He still loves to shoot outside the box. Instead of playing an easy pass. And if you saw the game today until Šeško came on, Bruno Fernandes, the players don't run into the box because they know that Fernandes, as soon as he gets the ball, is going to shoot. Cunha today shooting outside of the box, which is okay. I don't mind that. I'm not I don't mind players shooting outside of the box, but it was constant today. And look, and that for me is one of those things whereby I think next season, one of the things we do need to improve on next season are those sloppy goals, are those easy goals. One thing that you can't lay at Amarin's door is, look, for those of you who love the goal stats, scoring those scruffy goals in the box is what is going to get you a Premier League title. Getting those scrappy goals in the box, and also it does help. Look, it does help Šeško being able to score goals as well. Look, Fernandes should have had another assist as well. So, look, I'm encouraged. I am encouraged. I thought Romero, what an arsehole. He's a horrible player. Would I like him? I would, I know people don't like him. I get that, but Romero is one of those players that he's nasty, isn't he? Romero is fucking nasty. He really is nasty. So look, I think it was a red card all day. I think he deserved it. Casemiro's got reds for lesser than that. Again, I have to say I was a bit concerned at that point. We are an injury away from our season collapsing. But look, this for me is what is making these games an interesting watch. My heart is in my mouth every single game. It is end-to-end football, and I think as people have said, it is rock and sock and ball. It is. When I was a kid, you had this boxing game. You had a red and a blue guy, and you press them, and they punch each other, until someone's head popped off. Right, but it wasn't about skill. It wasn't about tactics. It literally was about who could punch each other first. And this is what we've got. This is our team. But look, let me get through some of the chats. Give me about your opinions today. Somebody says, sorry, I joined an Arsenal live and annoyed him. It's funny. He says in Arteta's first job, he is a top manager. Delusion is real. I'm taking all the positives for the win. Yeah, I agree with you, my friend. Been 1-0 for a long time. Couldn't make us relax. We should have won by 3 or 4. A woman on a male-dominated football channel with a personality, Grace. Grace is a legend. You've got to respect Grace. It is a mandatory thing. We've had too much trauma from a lot of these players, so it's hard to trust them 100%. Most of Spurs players are injured. Yes, I miss Amrin. It's been so boring since he's left. Mate, I'm not even going to try and pronounce your name or mate. I'm not even going to embarrass myself and insult you by trying to pronounce your name. So I'm going to call you Orjai. Says hi. My first thought when Ugarte came on was, oh no. Hit the like button, guys and girls, if you think JB should dye his hair red. If we win 5 games in a row. Also, if you're enjoying the stream. Jesus. Have you seen the highlights from West Brom v United? Shea Lacey bagged himself a hat-trick. Mate, Shea Lacey, yeah, I have seen it. Shea Lacey is quality. Shea Lacey is just... I just think Lacey is one of those people who's he's just a gift. He really is. Would it be fair to say United missed Doggy's impact? I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I think it's too early. I think Kelvin, legend, mate. I hope you're doing extremely well. Kelvin is a legend. We had a good, strong bench if you don't count Ugarte and Bienda. Our club is rejuvenated, says Kelvin. It's funny how Mainu and Maguire are now playing every game since Amarin's gone. Taking Luke Shaw off spared him an injury, says Simon. I think... Oh, no. I think Mainu has brought a lot more control in our attacks. I agree with that. I think Mainu's skill, more than anything else, is his control with the ball is unbelievable. I think people miss that. Mainu's attribute is when he's on that ball. I mean, he is. I don't think there's anybody better. I think when Mainu gets that ball, trying to get the ball off him he's a joy. He's a joy. But I can see, and I can see what Amarin didn't play him. I can see what Amarin didn't play him in an Amarin system. That's what I mean. Kobe Mainu is a talented boy. But if you're looking for a midfield 2 where one of your midfielders has to be more defensive minded, Mainu is limited. And look, I love Mainu. I think Mainu is brilliant, and I for the last couple of weeks, all I've done is praise the kid. I don't want him to go. I fully support him. Right? Mainu is limited. If you want more of a defense-minded player, Kobe Mainu isn't it. So look, I think the question mark on Kobe Mainu is still out there. If you've got a manager that comes in, like, where does Kobe Mainu fit into the squad in terms of a midfield pivot or a midfield 3? I can see why. I can see why that Amarin likens him to that Bruno Fernandes position. They're completely different players, but Kobe's skill is if Kobe played in that space between RD and their box, that is where you want him. He's not particularly quick. Defensively, I don't think he's great, but I think in that attacking phase, I think he's fantastic. If Luke Shaw didn't have so much injuries, he would be one of the best left backs in the world, says Ray. Bring back Amarin. Archie Gray is a midfielder, play right back due to injuries. We are now 15 points above the Spurs. I'll never forget the guy. I saw that as well. Mark O'Boyle says you'll never walk alone. Ray says I'm surprised the hospital hasn't got a ward named after Luke Shaw. Watching from Nairobi, Kenya, says Evans. Thanks, buddy. United is back. The Carick, we enjoyed our Spud bashing. You always walk alone. We turned Spuds into mashed potatoes. Oh, guys, I'm loving this. I think we should sell Bruno at the end of the season. It's only chance to actually cash in what he's got from. And Evans, mate, I think, look, I think many people would agree with you. Hesh says, thank you for beating. Thank you, got beaten Spurs. Look, mate, it's my pleasure. I single-handedly beat Spurs. What a player Romero is. Thank you for your service. The Spurs are shit. Oh my God, Arsenal fan has reached a new level, saying Arteta is better than Jose. Sorry, look, Ray, mate, it doesn't matter, buddy. Ray, bring it into look. I know some good Arsenal fans, right? I do. We get some really good Arsenal fans on here as well. I think that the majority of Arsenal fans are quite humble. I think that they want to win a league, and I do think that they're quite humble about it. AFTV and toxic channels like that, and that goes for our fan base as well, by the way. I just think they fuel a rhetoric that is just not. It's just not true. Look, I'm all for people. People are gonna have their views, right? And I actively encourage anybody to come on this channel. Look, and if your opinion is Carick is the new Fergie, you love the Glazers, you love Ineos, that is your view. My job and our job, I think this is what separates this channel, I think, from everybody else, right? My channel is not to be some hyperbole, some sort of channel whereby I give you these extraordinary opinions for you to click on to this channel, right? My job is also to give you guys your view. My job is not to, I won't challenge your views, because if that's your view, why is my view more important than yours? It's different when I'm at home. It's different when I'm with the wife, because of course we all know that we all know that your wife's view or your husband's view, depending, because you could be two wives, you could be two, right? That your other half is always right. But it's not my view on this channel to try to change your mind. It's not. I'm not trying to convince you that your opinion is wrong. I'm not trying to convince you that my opinion is right. You have your views, and I know some of you guys have very, 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 very strong views. But that's what it should be about. So, and look, mate, people are going to have their views, but the place that I do struggle with, though, as much as I respect people's views, where I struggle a lot is when people have extremities of views, extremities of positivity and negativity. I kind of live in the grey, of course. I kind of live in the grey, and I can go like either side, but I do find it difficult to deal with the extreme views on both sides. Brad says if we get into Europe next season, we need to buy 6 or 7 players. Romero leasing Casemiro to the disability leagues, the way he nearly got his leg. It was disgusting, mate. But Brad, I am with you. If we get into the Champions League, we need 6 or 7 players. Brad, it's not going to happen, mate. Not going to happen. Resi, don't worry. We are selling Romero and bringing Vuskovic back. Wesley, legend, mate. Don't worry. We got Tyler Fletcher now, new signing. Get rid of Frank Spencer too. Give Carrick the job now. Omar. Can I ask you a question? Right. So look, this is your show tonight, right? Can I ask a question? Right. Why do people want to give Carick the job now? That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying your opinion's wrong. I'm not saying Carick shouldn't get the job. I'm asking a question tonight. Why should Carick get the job? After 4 games, and look, I get it. The football, and even I will say this, the football is end to end. The football is exciting. Why should Carick get the job now? I'm asking you to to give me your mindset. Tell me why you think Carick should get the job. Mustafa says, hello, buddy. If there was such a player called KG, then you could pair him with Lacey. Pivot, yes, exactly. I can't see us buying 2 top midfielders if Mona keeps playing like this. Hypothetically speaking, if Frank Spencer was to get sacked on Monday, who would you like to choose as the next victim? Probably Amrin. Yes, I said, glory to Mona. I was expecting you stream during the match. I did, mate. I did, buddy. I did, mate. I did, mate. I did. We are humble, says Digsby Dinner. Hot take, I think Robbie Lowe is a knowledgeable guy, but has been turned by the money. Rob? Look, I don't really watch them all, but I don't know him. I can't comment on him. I don't really watch his stuff. Look, I can only go on the things that I saw. And obviously I've put up a short of Robbie talking with some other guy about Arsenal, right? Look, I get a fan is a fan, but I think Robbie is arrogant as fuck. I think everybody to a degree is arrogant. I don't know how much of it is for camera, right? I don't know how much of it is for camera. I don't know how much of it is for show. Again, I respect the fact, anybody that does this gets successful to the level that they have. Ultimately, look, Robbie standing outside the Emirates interviewing people, the guy comes across like, very, very articulate at times. I like the way that he speaks. I do think at times he speaks sense, but I wonder how much of that is for the camera. Look, I've put up a short, and look, some of the things that he says on there, look, I don't know if that's for camera, but look, some people do show their true colours at times, and it says, I think if the bottom 3 went so bad, Spurs would get relegated. Arsenal fans and humble don't go in the same sentence. Page book, basically they don't go together. Out of the City Scouse match tomorrow, which one would you guys draw for me? Draw. I'll take a draw. Newcastle slipped up today. They did. I disagree. I'm always right. Exactly. We are humble. Top of the Premier and Champions League in the Carabao Cup. Top that, says Digsby Dinner. We are humble. Top of the league. Champions League in the Carabao Cup. And look, Digsby, mate. Look, it is. I'm not going to get onto Arsenal. But look, I think Arsenal fans have every right to be happy. The only thing I'm going to say is the bit that I don't get about Arsenal fans being cocky. This is the bit that I don't get. Right? If I was an Arsenal fan, would you be cocky? Possibly. Like, as you say, you're Champions League, top of that. You're gonna win the Premier League. Fine. But the bit that I don't get is Arsenal don't win the league every season. Arsenal are not consistent Premier League winners. Since 1990, you've won the league 4 times, 3 times, 4 times. I don't get the cockiness. Like, I'd understand it, right, if you'd won the league every other season. I'd understand it if in the last 22 years you'd won the league 7 times, right? You can tell when winning becomes a habit. You can tell when winning becomes standard. Look at City fans, right? This is not a dig. City fans used to be really, really cocky, right? Until they won leagues and they won Champions League. And then they're just like, oh, well. You get so accustomed to winning that actually you're a bit like, oh, okay. Like, I'm not saying it becomes lessened, but your attitude towards it becomes so blasé because you win all of the time. You can tell champions and winners because they just crack on with it. They just win it. Like if City now decided to go on a run and win every single game and went on to win the league, City fans wouldn't be banging on like the fans are now. Like that's how you can tell. That's how you can tell winners, because Arsenal haven't won the league for 22 years, right? And all Arsenal want, and I'm not putting every fan, I'm not putting every Arsenal fan here on the same step, but Arsenal want to tell everybody, like we know, it's almost a bit like, right? It's almost a bit like, have you ever had that mate, right? That when you're younger and you say like you're like 18 or so, and you first start to, right? And you've all been in, and it's happened, and then you've got the one mate, it hasn't quite like happened, and it could be a girl, could be a guy, and everyone else is experienced, and then you've got the one guy who finally, has it, and then they're telling everybody, oh guys, like I've had it, I'm a legend, like I'm a champion, I've just had sex, oh my god, it's like amazing, oh my god. And then you're a bit like, well, we've been doing that now, mate, for quite some time. Like we've been, that's something that we've done, right? And Arsenal are a bit like that. They're a bit like the kid who everyone else has done it, and they've only done it just now or going to do it, and they're telling everybody, like, we get it, mate. Like, we get it. Like, Arsenal are top of the league for are gonna win the league for the first time in 22 years. You're still in the League Cup, fantastic. You probably will win that, and you're top of the Champions League. You've never won the Champions League, mate. Liverpool have won it 6-7 times. We've won it 3 times. We've been there. We've done that. Aston Villa have won more Champions Leagues than you. Nottingham Forest have won Champions Leagues. Like, that you're not even going to be the second or third team to win a Champions League. Like you're going to be down the list. Like you're going to be behind. United were the first. Liverpool, City, Chelsea, Forest, Aston Villa. Like you're going to be the 7th or 8th English team to win a Champions League. Like, and this is what I mean. I like, fantastic. Celebrate it as an achievement, but guess what? We'll move on next season, and that'll be it. Ray says, opinion I can't get my head around is that Pep in the same league as Fergie or even Wenger. Is that no, the first quadruple winners, and we haven't finished the season yet. Trust me, we're humble. Deluded, buddy. Deluded. Don't say if we get into Europe, we will get into Europe. Be optimistic. I think positive, less of the negative waves. Pep is better than Wenger, but no way. So Alex Ferguson, because Carick is lean. Digsby, you're not winning all 4. You will bottle two of them. Simon says, Ray says, I see a different Robbie when he's on DR Sports. And again, look, Ray, I don't watch Robbie, so it's almost a bit like, I think sometimes you can people form opinions on a snippet, right? Now, I don't know him. I can only, if I'm asked a question, I can only judge somebody on what I see. I always prefix it though with people like that doing these sorts of shows. There's a persona that they have to do. And look, I don't judge anybody. As I say, I don't judge people. I'll be honest. People will probably think that I'm a bit of a twat. What you see here is what you see on the street. If you were to meet me on the street, please don't punch me. But I am the same person. Exactly the same person. It's just that I still can't believe that a decent amount of fan base are more excited over a guy getting a haircut and us winning 4 times in a row. I agree with you. I think it's ludicrous, buddy. I do. Arsenal fans are too smug and cocky. City will clown you in the final. Even the mate Casemiro and Luke Shaw, world class. We're screwed if we lose. Casemiro, look, Fresh, mate. I respect the opinion. Fresh will always agree to disagree, but people can't help who they like, right? Give you an example. I'm one of 3 boys. My eldest brother used to date a girl, and he used to think that she was absolutely amazing. She was a nice girl. Personality was amazing. She just wasn't for me. I and many other people. I'm not going to say that she wasn't. She might have thought like I was a dog. That's fine, but it's just amazing what one person sees, someone else will see different. Man says Galatasaray versus Inter. What do you think the result will be? I don't know. I think if Galatasaray are at home, I think they've got a chance. Best fans are the Galatasaray fans. I think they're so loud. Well, look, mate. I think you've got to support your team. Obviously, I'm not going to agree with that because obviously I'm not a Galatasaray fan, but I respect your view. It's been 22 years since Arsenal won the league. They have always been the bridesmaid and never the bride. More like Leicester City season than anything else. Talking about quadruples. My mate's still crying over the Real Benfica game. Just like Spurs, there's just dust and cobwebs in the trophy cabinet where a league trophy should be. What are you talking about? The noisy neighbours ring any bells? Yep. What is JB mumbling about? I don't know. No, I did. 6 times. Yeah. It is true. No, it is true. The 3 kids are not mine, Grace. If you don't understand what he's saying, then you are dumb. Since the inception of the Premier League, there has never been an Englishman to win it. What do you think about? I don't know, mate. I was trying about the quadruple. Yeah. Phil says I'll be up at 7 and getting ready to manage. An undefeated grassroots team was honoured to have Harry Redknapp watch our game and gave great feedback. Legend. Look, Phil, legend, mate. Phil, absolute, mate. Amazing stuff, buddy. Look, I hope you win tomorrow, Phil. So look, fingers crossed for you, buddy. I really hope that you win. If I was to meet you, JB, on street, does that mean he's a night walker? I've been called first. I just hope we don't come down with a bump against West Ham. We need the points. Well, my doctor said, my depression is cured. gone. I'm glad, not a Spurs fan then. Even Ipswich under Robson have won a European Cup. Exactly. So look, let's get into the scores. Oh, time's it, Jesus Christ. Right, let's get on to the scores. I'm going to mark each player out 6. You give me your scores as well. Maybe we'll agree to disagree on these. I don't know, but let's give them a go. Larmins today. Look, I don't think Larmins had loads to do today. I'll give Larmins a 6. I thought he made a good save. I thought he did make a good save. He's confident. Larmins is confident. Commands that. I genuinely think Larmins is going to be top class. To come into this side, and I think Larmins has been very, very understated in what he's done. I think that what Larmins has done very, very quickly, and I think this is testament to how good he is he's come into the squad and he's just expected now. People just expect a good game from him. And yes, look, don't get me wrong, his positional sense is not always the best. But Grace, he for the money, other than Aid in Heaven, value for money is ridiculous. Whoever picked him out, brilliant. Absolute, what a keeper. And 6.5, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. He's so good. And he could be our keeper for 14 years. Like, unbelievable. So look, agreed, 6.5 for me. Adalo. Today, look, assist. One thing I will say that he takes criticism, right? And he does take a lot of stick, right? But I tell you what, I've got to give him respect this season. Look, do I think that he is the future in this club? No. Do I think he is? He does things, right? He does his own things, but he's available. He's available. And look, we've got a threadbare squad. He gives it. He's Dallo reminds me, and Grace is gonna hate me for this. He reminds me of, you know, that kid in school who's not the best, but he turns up every week and his socks are ironed, his football shorts are ironed, his football top is ironed, he's clean, he's tidy, he's always there, rain, shine. And look, is he the worst at football? No. Is he the best at football? No. There are some days he could be great. He's just that guy who's just always there. Is he the future? No. Does he add value? And Nikarutsu, that is what I mean. There are people that iron their socks. Scott, I can't. Grace, it wasn't me that said that. It was Scott. So just don't. So just don't. Right. Look, you can incur the wrath of Grace. But look, 6 for me. I'm gonna give him a 6. We won, clean sheet. Look, if we hadn't won the game, right, I would mark him down, right? But I think you could argue a 6.5 today because look, it's a clean sheet, an assist. I think is he the best player in the entire world? No, but he's our player. He's our player. He's doing the things that he does. And look, we seem to be getting through games. And whilst we're winning games, I think we've got to try to praise these players and see their positivities as much as we can. So look, for me, 6.5 for me, 6. Aya says, nevertheless, I would like to thank Amrin for being able to get rid of those prima donnas, i.e. like the likes of Snowflake, Rashford, Sancho, Garnacho, Højlund and Anthony. Højlund, I'm sorry, Højlund, I'm not having that one. Højlund is banging goals in for fun. Grace said, let's not take the piss out of special kids. Why are we throwing Scott under the bus? I'm not. Scott jumping head first under the bus. No one's pushing him. Why he'd be played if we held on to Lindelof, I don't know. Dalot's been our best player for 30 years. Pandam says, greetings from Indonesia. It's 7 o'clock in the morning right now. Happy weekend, sir. Happy weekend. Somerville from West Ham. I wasn't taking the piss out of them. I was just, he reminds me of. So look, Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw today, 6. If we'd have lost today or drawn, Luke Shaw would have got a 5 from me. Sloppy passing today. You know, you could even argue Luke Shaw a 5.5, 5.56. Sloppy. Sloppy. I think he nearly cost us a goal. Luke Shaw deserves a wee 7, says Nikarutsu. The biggest aspect that United have made a great so far, 4 in a row, is true. I think Luke Shaw for me is a 6. You could argue 5.5, 6. I think he's Luke Shaw today for me. You can argue a 5.5, 6. I think he's sloppy. He nearly cost us a goal. I think if they'd have scored, look, he's getting a 6 because clean sheet. Luke Shaw is not the future. There is talk of a new contract for Luke Shaw. If Luke Shaw gets a new contract, it tells you everything you need to know about this club, and it will be absolutely scary. The Butcher, look, I thought the Butcher today 6.5. Look, good passing, solid. Looked a little bit off it today. I don't think he looked as I don't think he looked as sharp. Ray says, here's a question: is it Carick or Højlund? You're talking like you're chewing a lemon. Let's pick some vibes so we can talk for real. Mate, why are you? Mate, I can't talk to you, 93, because I don't understand. Are you actually talking English? I don't understand. Let's pick up some vibes so we can talk for real. I don't get that, mate. Like, I don't get it, mate. He is bringing the vibes. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you mean by vibes, mate. I maybe I'm too old. Maybe I'm just not down with the kids. Not that I'd want to be, because I'd be in some sort of book for that. But what I don't get it. Here's a question: run of form, is it Carick or Højlund? I think it's neither, Ray. I tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly why the form has improved. Because we are playing Player FC. The real reason for the run of form is the Player FC. The players are dictating the form. The players are dictating how we're playing. This is Player FC. What they're doing, and this has been spoken about, that the players are happy because even the training they're doing short and sharp. They're not doing long drills. They're not doing this training that they find really, really boring. This is Player FC. The reason why we're playing so it's got nothing to do with tactics. It's got nothing to do with Carick. It's got nothing to do with Højlund. The players have decided they're going to play. The players have decided that they like the training. The players are playing back in their positions. The players are playing a system that suits them. They're back in. They're playing a back four. They're playing absorb and attack, so which means that Luke Shaw doesn't have to run as much. The back four doesn't have to sprint as much. The real answer here, in my view, is that the reason why they're playing so well is because the players are dictating that they're playing well. 93 is on the back of my bus, waiting for Grace. You're all straight, mid, and main character energy is here actually cooked. What? Hang on. 93 says, no cap, you're all straight, mid, and the main character energy is here. In here is actually cooked. Oh my fucking God. Oh my actually. 93, do you actually live in the real world? Well, straight mid main cat. Fucking hell, mate. Can somebody translate? Because I literally have zero idea. I don't know. William says, which midfielder would you want in the summer if you had a choice? I think I would like. I think I'd probably go for two versatile midfielders. I think I'd want to go for more of a defensive minded one and more of an attacking one. I think I'd look. And Anderson, for me, people will argue and have argued on here that he's more of an 8, right? I would go for a Belabor Anderson, Belabor Stiller, that sort of player. I think Anderson would be perfect, but I think a Belabor type, maybe not a Belabor as such, Stiller, but I think Stiller is more of a Bruno Fernandes player type. I'd want a Belabor type, Anderson, a Wharton. Scott is on it. When Casemiro left, who's the most ideal player that we can sign? Look, I think we're gonna do a Belabor. That's what I think. I do think that. You're exactly. Grace is the main character on here 100%. Matt the monkey. Absolutely. Look, people can't hack it. William says it feels like Ollie again. It does. What? Okay, so so Grace saying is what 93 is saying is that you, if you was a Marriott character, he would choose you last. Cool. I'm not a mirror, so stop reflecting you in. Oh, I love it. 93 is one of those. 93. I get it. You're one of those, aren't you? 90 is only 93 is angry because he missed the bus to school. Don't come raiding Stoke for our best player, says Simon. Look, Simon, if we want to come to Stoke, mate, we'll be pinching your players. Okay, guys, good luck. No, 93, please, mate. Look, mate, don't go because you're bringing the main character vibe. Look, come on now, don't go. Young blood, you're just chatting garbage. A lot of fake YouTubers want to be like this. Full step up and not depend on your YouTube income. Stop wasting the government electricity. Oh, mate. Abu Dhar, mate. You've just made my absolute fucking night. Abu Dhar, you've just made my fucking night, mate. I promise you, mate, you've just made my evening. You don't know the channel, mate. I just, mate, I love it, buddy. I love it. Abu Tar, I just want to say you're a fucking idiot. You want to come on and attack me, so you don't know shit. I've actually got a job, and I guarantee I'll get paid fucking more than you do. Look, I do this. This is a passion, and you talk about fake, right? Well, how can I be fake, you fucking moron? Because I'm on this platform. So, and also the electricity, I fucking pay for it. So no one gives me money. I pay my own way, and I've got a job. So this is just extra. And this channel doesn't pay. So, yeah. So that's a massive one to you. Massive one to you, and that's another massive one to you. So those are for you. You can take those home. You can wrap them up and take them home with you. So those are yours. This is my gift to you. Take them home, and you can shove them where the sun doesn't shine. But look, you don't have to thank me for the gift, Abukar. You don't have to thank me. That is a free gift. It is compliments of the channel. It's all free, buddy. So it says between and now and if we sign Baleba, a lot can happen in the next 6 months. Grace has come up 93. This is your moment. Do you think the guy's finally gonna cut his hair? Oh mate, I'm not. Young blood, I don't know about young. Abucargo smokes. Finally, it's glory, man. United. Wrap up the first. Yeah. Look. Exactly. Look, Simon, you've got to block him, mate. But look. He didn't want to stay for his presents. Look, I bought him some presents. Like the least that he could have done. The least that he could have done was just stayed around. Selfish he is. Do you believe that Carick could be the solution if this form continues? William, I think that's an answer for another show. And I am going to get through this. But all I'm going to say is we don't know. I think this is something that I think is too early to tell. Look, I love the fact tonight the fan base is happy. I'm happy. Despite someone already calling me that I'm a miserable sod. Look, I am happy today. Is Carrick the solution? I don't know. Look, William, my only problem here is there are so many games left. What happens if Carrick goes on to lose the next 6? I'm not saying that will happen. But imagine if you give Carrick 4 years now, what happens if Carrick goes and loses the next 10 games, goes into next season, loses the first 5? You've then got to pay him 3 and a bit years off to sack him. So I think, look, let's wait to the end of this. Look, William, we don't need an answer now, do we, mate? Like, the answer is I don't know. If you had a gun to my head and said to me, you've got to pick, Carrick right now is not the long-term answer. But I think it would be, we have to wait till the end of the season. But that's my view. With a name like that, sounds like he could turn your internet off. How do you rate the other players in? Okay, so look, yeah, let's get through the team. So Maguire for me today, 6.5, 6.5. I think he was good, steady. I thought he put in some good blocks. So Maguire for me, 6.5. Casemiro today, where do we rate Casemiro today? Look, Casemiro for me today, I think you could go 6.5, a 7 today for a Casemiro. Look, Casemiro for me is having a purple patch. He's having a fantastic end to his, I think, his first-rate career. I think when he leaves, he's going to go to the States, and I think he's going to go and chill. But look, Casemiro today, 6.5, a 7. Again, I don't think that when Spurs had 11 men, I thought he was in the game, but he does that defensive, deep line defensive midfield shield extremely well. Then when they went down to, and I thought Spurs were dominating the midfield, so I'd mark him down for that. But then Spurs had the man sent off, and then he comes into his game. He's got space. He's got time, and marking it on the fact that Spurs had a red card. It shouldn't detract from the fact that, look, the red card probably did help us, but he's still got to play. So look, for me, Casemiro today, 6.57. I think he's playing well. Look, I like Casemiro. So look, for me, 7. Kobe today, I think, is a 6.56. And the reason for that is, look, going forward, I think he's immaculate. I think he's amazing. I think he's growing into the game. 6.5, 7 today, fine. I think he's growing into the game. When he's got the ball at his feet, I think he's fantastic. He's a joy to watch. Defensively, I think he's still not great. I think that's part of his game that he needs to learn. He's not particularly quick, but clean sheet. Fantastic player. So look, 6.57. 7 for Casemiro. Casemiro, I think, is a 7. 7 for Holmes. 7.9 for Casemiro. Boy, he's great even for his age. I will come back. Kobe 6.56. So Bruno Fernandes. Let's get on to, look, Bruno Fernandes. I am gonna open a discussion up on him probably tomorrow. I've got a show in mind, and I'm going to talk about him. I am in the context of this game and the context of the games this season. But Bruno Fernandes, to me, a gender aside, is going to be an 8, 8.5. Oh, Portuguese friend. Oh, Portuguese friend. Oh, friend. Look, I'm not getting carried away with it tonight. Grace, I would have thought you would have given Luke Shaw 1, but Bruno Fernandes, for me, look, you can argue an 8.5 and 9. I give him an 8 today. I thought Bruno today is still very frustrating. I thought when the game was more equal, I didn't think he was particularly in the game that much. I thought Bruno was in the game, but he wasn't doing what Bruno. He wasn't as much in the game as when the red card happened. As soon as the red card happened, Bruno was all over it. Look, the reason why I mark him down, instead of being an 8.5, a 9 for me, is he's wasteful. He had the run of that pitch, and sometimes instead of just playing the easy pass, instead of just not taking the shot, instead of just putting those balls through, right? He's got to do something special. I mean, the Rabona today, I mean, that was unbelievable. That Rabona today summed up for me what a special, what an amazing talent that he is, but at the same time, what a self-centered, selfish player he is. Because that Rabona, for me today, didn't need to happen. Like, what an absolute, JB says boner. I said Rabona. not boner. No, I just said it twice now, didn't I? But that for me sums him up. His his Rabona was nice. It was immaculate. But that summed him up for me today. He doesn't need to do that, and it was in equal parts sublime, world class, amazing, fantastic, but selfish, arrogant. These are the things that sum him up. So look, today for me, fantastic game. He's had 2 good games now. Look, he's been involved in 4 good games, but the last two games he's been good. So look, long may that form continue, and hopefully that form continues, and hopefully he can win the Ballon d'Or. Hopefully he can win the Player of the Season. Hopefully he can win the World Cup. I just want him to be consistent. Cunha for me today, 6.5. I think he was quietish today, but look, you still give him the ball, he still tries to do stuff. I like he's the type of player that I like, always looking to do stuff. Quietish today, but look. And Bumo today for me, I think 7.5, 6. Look, 6, 7.58 for me today. I think that Mbumo got his goal. You've got to score him up for that. Look, for me, for him to get a 9, I think I just need a little bit more. But look, 8.5. Works hard, scores a goal, runs all day long. He is a United player. He is a current United player. Fights, runs, puts in a shift. Fantastic player. So look, 8.5 for me. Ahmad, 7. 6.57. Ahmad for me. Ahmad is up there for me today for our player of the season. Always runs, always up for a fight. Even though he's quite small, he runs, he battles, he gets the ball, he's exciting. Ahmad for me is the epitome. Even if he doesn't score, even if he's only a 7, I like him. He's so consistent. He's so consistent, and I think he's brilliant. So look, Maz 6, Ugarte 6, Xerxes 6, Fletcher 6, Shesko should have fucking scored as well, but look, 6 for him as well. Carick, what I give Carick, but Carick probably gets a 7. But I'd score him up because we won today. Shesko 9 for the great goal he scored at the end, says Grace. So look, for me today, Carrick is a 7. The reason why he is because I would have scored him a 6. I gave him a 7 because we won. I am still to see tactics. I'm still to see tactics. I'm still to see, what Carick is going to do long term. I don't really care right now. So look, I am just I'm just enjoying it. I think Carick for me, I think he's doing all of the right things. I don't have a bad thing to say. I don't have a bad thing to say about Carick. Carick is of a time and a place, and I think he's doing a fantastic job. So look, well done to Carick, and well done on the win. So let me get through the super chats. See what we're saying. Let's have a little look. I did say Boner. Bruno has a replacement in the team. Just injuries is that problem of the player. I trust Mount on that position. Mate, Mason Mount's done. I've been saying this. We've been saying this on here for weeks and months. Mason Mount's done. Mason Mount is done. Mason Mount is finished. Mason Mount has had 8 injuries this season. Mason Mount's done, buddy. Look, I like Mason Mount. I wish that Mason Mount could do a Luke Shaw, and Mason Mount would come back and be a fantastic player. He's done, mate. Liam says, hi, hello, Liam. Mount is washed. He needs to leave. I did say boner. What's your score predictions for Liverpool City? I think a draw, you know. I think it's a draw. Liam says, had my head in my hands when Casemiro was writhing in pain on the floor. It's so important to our midfield. Burma was an 8, 9, 7, Ahmad. Jack Jones, you wally. Roblox says, after that, mate, you must have to keep Carrick unless you have a manager you're wanting. No, it's too early. It's too early, mate. It is too early. It is literally like, right? It is literally like meeting a partner, and I'm not talking about a cowboy. It's like literally meeting a partner, a man, woman. You've gone out with them for 4 dates. They are the most amazing thing, and then you ask them to marry you. Like, why? Like, we've had 4 games, and I know we've won 4 games. But why would we want to do that? I just, people need to make me understand, and look, you don't need to, but I don't understand what is the argument here? What is the argument for Carick to get the job based on 4 games? That's the bit I don't get. Ollie won 8 games. Ollie got the job, and look at what happened. We've been here before. Based on history, why should we give Carick what is it? I'm not seeing it. Ahmad reminds me of Nani. Ugarte gets 10 or nothing. When the loss comes, let's see how the players respond. Let's see how long before they throw Carick under the bus too. Exactly. Mount is like a cheap car or desk falling apart. Carick is doing a good job. So far. No, I look. This is not about Carick, by the way. Carick could be the guy. This is about premature. This is like getting too excited and then you go off on one. Mason Mount is a Morris Minor. Mount is like a scrap car, part needed working on. I can't say it's 4 games. It's City, Arsenal, Spurs, all teams that have beaten you lot. I can. Mount is like something that Aussies make on the Gold Hunters program to make gold made from scrap. So look, guys, I am going to go. Fantastic show. You know, I have tried to stay away from being a miserable git tonight. Look, a win is a win is a win. Enjoy it, because I am. You know, these players deserve praise tonight as well. These players deserve praise. They're doing their jobs, and I think that is the one thing that I can ask for. Fulham, we weren't great, we weren't perfect. Today, we weren't perfect, but 3 points is 3 points. A win is a win, and I don't care. We need the Champions League, and look, look. If Carick gets the job, there's nothing that I can say will do, right? But look, absolute legends. Mr. Curly says, how does it feel to be Arsenal away from home? It feels good, mate. It does feel good. Look, it feels good to win, and we've won 4 times. So look, a massive congratulations to Carick, to Holland, to the team. Bruno Fernandes is playing well. Look, long may it continue. Long may it continue, and I will keep supporting these players along may continue. Lucky says, great chat, mate. Thanks, buddy. Thank you, JB, for an awesome stream and giving up your time for us, fellow fans. Sleep well. Thanks, buddy. You're better than Arsenal. Great stream as always. Best stream. I always enjoy these streams after a busy day. Thank you. 1 point behind Villa. Exactly. What if we unthinkable come second? It could happen. What if we actually won the league? I'm not getting into that chat now. So Tanyaro is in the chat, or I think it's Tanya Roden, isn't it? It's Tanya. It is Tanya. Tanya, absolute legend. I always get your name wrong, but look, thank you. Look, some lucky person has got a gift. Look, I am going to. I always forget to. Can somebody remind me? Can somebody remind me? The next time I do a stream, not on the phone, on to let me know to give away some memberships, because I absolutely will do. So I do want to give away some memberships. So thank you so much. I will give away some memberships. And my choice for man of the match was Romero, says Simon. JB, remember your deal. United win the league special stream with a Mancini, mate. I'm going to the gym now, mate. I'm buffing up. I'm buffing up for the special stream. Look, don't blame me. Be careful what you want, because if we win the league, you're just not going to be prepped for what your eyes are going to see. It's going to be like, it's going to be magnificent. Top 4 has to be the target. That's everyone right now. I do agree with you. I will remind you, JB, right now. Have a fun day, legends. Legends. Thanks, Tanya. Absolute legend. What did you think? Who do you think will win the league? I think Arsenal are going to win the league. So look, I'm going to go. God, it's late. Look, I won't be back tomorrow. I don't think I'll be back tomorrow. I might be. I don't think I will be back tomorrow. I don't plan to be. So I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good rest of your weekend. Have a good rest of morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. You guys are absolute legends. I'm JB. This is the United Devil channel. And I'll see you very, very soon. Take care.